Based on UN population estimates, India has surpassed China to become the world's most populated country, marking the most profound shift in global demography since records began. According to the UN forecasts, which are based on a range of criteria such as census statistics and birth and death rates, India now has a population of more than 1.4 billion, overtaking China for the first time. As India grapples with issues such as resource scarcity, urban overcrowding, rising income inequality, and the looming threat of climate change, policymakers, economists, and social commentators are all concerned about whether the country can support its growing population. In the decades following independence, India experienced a rapid population explosion, driven by a combination of declining mortality rates, improved access to healthcare, and high fertility levels. This demographic surge was particularly pronounced in the 1960s and 70s, when India's population grew at an average annual rate of over 2.2%, reaching nearly 700 million by the end of the 20th century. This population explosion, however, has begun to slow in recent decades, as India has undergone a gradual demographic transition. Improved living standards, increased female education, and more effective family planning initiatives have all contributed to a decline in fertility rates, with the national average now hovering around 2.2 children per woman, a significant drop from the 1970s, when it stood at over 5 children per woman. The uneven nature of this demographic transition, however, has presented India with a new set of challenges. While some states, such as Kerala and Tamil Nadu, have already reached replacement-level fertility, other regions, particularly in the northern states, continue to grapple with high population growth rates. The geographical disparity has exacerbated regional inequalities and placed additional strain on the country's resources and infrastructure. India has one of the world's youngest populations, with a median age of approximately 28 years. This demographic advantage, commonly referred to as the demographic dividend, creates a unique potential for economic growth and innovation. However, reaping this demographic dividend is dependent on India's capacity to invest in human capital, generate meaningful job opportunities, and ensure the effective delivery of key services like healthcare and education. Failure to do so risks increased unemployment, social discontent, and a missed opportunity to advance India's economic transition. One of the most significant manifestations of India's population growth has been the rapid urbanization of the country, with millions of people migrating from rural areas to urban centers in search of better economic opportunities and a higher quality of life. This urban explosion has placed immense strain on India's cities, which have struggled to keep pace with the influx of new residents. The country's major metropolitan areas, such as Delhi, Mumbai, and Kolkata, have become synonymous with overcrowding, inadequate housing, overburdened infrastructure, and a deteriorating quality of life. In Delhi, for instance, the population has more than doubled since the 1990s, reaching over 29 million in the broader metropolitan area. This rapid growth has led to a severe housing shortage, with millions of residents living in informal settlements and slums, often lacking access to basic amenities such as clean water and sanitation. The implications of this urban population expansion go far beyond the cities themselves, with the strain on resources and the environment reverberating throughout the country. The need for food, energy, and water has risen dramatically, putting pressure on rural areas to boost production and supply. This has resulted in unsustainable agricultural methods, deforestation, and groundwater depletion, increasing India's environmental concerns. Furthermore, the concentration of economic opportunities in cities has expanded the divide between rural and urban communities, resulting in greater income disparity and social tensions. This sharp division has been a source of political instability, with the urban-rural divide frequently determining the shape of India's electoral environment. Policymakers have grappled with the challenge of managing this rapid urbanization, with mixed results. Efforts to develop smart cities and improve urban infrastructure have been hampered by bureaucratic inertia, limited funding, and the sheer scale of the problem. One of the most pressing concerns is the depletion of India's water resources, with many of the country's major river basins and groundwater aquifers facing the specter of severe water stress. The combination of rising demand, inefficient water management, and the impacts of climate change has led to a water crisis in many parts of the country. On the economic front, the size and composition of India's population have been a double-edged sword. The country's demographic dividend, characterized by a large and relatively young working-age population, has the potential to drive rapid economic growth, provided that the necessary investments are made in human capital development, job creation, and entrepreneurship. India's GDP growth has averaged around 6 to 7% per year over the past decade, making it one of the fastest-growing major economies. This growth is driven by sectors such as information technology, services, manufacturing, and agriculture. Despite economic growth, India faces significant challenges related to poverty and inequality. Approximately 22% of the population lives below the poverty line, and income inequality remains high. Moreover, the strain on India's public services and social safety nets has been exacerbated by the sheer size of the population. Access to quality healthcare, education, and basic amenities, such as clean water and sanitation, has been a persistent challenge, particularly in the country's impoverished rural and urban areas. As India faces the complex problems posed by its rising population, the country has been exploring a variety of techniques and policy initiatives to secure a brighter future. Effective governance and sound policies are critical for addressing the challenges posed by a growing population. Strengthening institutions, promoting good governance, and implementing evidence-based policies can enhance India's capacity to sustain its population. Investing in high-quality education, particularly for girls and women, can help to improve literacy rates, increase economic opportunities, and promote more sustainable family planning practices. Implementing comprehensive urban planning strategies, including the development of affordable housing, efficient public transportation, and well-designed sanitation systems, can help address the challenges of urbanization and improve the quality of life for urban residents. India's population challenge is not only a national concern, but also a global imperative. As the world's largest democracy and a rising economic power, India's ability to harness its demographic dividend and provide a decent quality of life for its citizens will have profound implications for the stability and prosperity of the entire planet. In conclusion, India's path to sustaining its growing population is complex but achievable. It requires a multifaceted approach that addresses economic, social, and environmental dimensions holistically. By leveraging its strengths, addressing its weaknesses, and fostering innovation and cooperation, India can create a prosperous and sustainable future for its people. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.